Hey guys, welcome back. This is Professor Roldan with part 2 of the video for 2.4 and 2.5 of Explorations in Mathematics. We're going to go ahead, if you recall in the last video, we finished the workbook page for 2.4. Even though you have all the answers in the workbook, I did provide you how those answers came about. And now it's time to do some practice problems in the book, which is very similar to my Math Lab assignments online. So let's get started. So I want to start with number 10. Number 10 is construct a Venn diagram illustrating the following sets. So we have the universal set with items in it. So this is just an example where it does not have to be numbers or letters. It could be items. So here we have microwave oven, freezer, dishwasher, refrigerator, washer, dryer, toaster, blender, food processor, and iron in the universal set. Then you have the three subsets, A, B, and C. Okay? So construct the Venn diagram using the following set. So let's go ahead and construct our Venn diagram here. So it's one big rectangle, then your three circles. So two at the top, one at the bottom. Okay. Now, this is A, B, C, and U here. Okay, so, all right, so as I said in the workbook notes, you want to start with the center and work outward. So the center is going to be the intersection of all three sets right in the center. And so we need to look at the list and see what they all have in common. All right, so we take a look at A, B, and C and see that there is iron, and that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just abbreviate with the first letter or a few letters here. So this is going to be the iron right there in the center. Okay. Step 2, we're going to do the petals. So next we want to do the petals, and that's working our way outward. So that's things that are in common between, first, let's say the top petal is A and B. So we take a look at our list here, and we have dishwasher. That's it. So dishwasher right there. Okay. So the dishwasher I'm just going to put up at the top as a D, since I don't have a lot of room. Then we're going to say, okay, what do B and C have in common over here on the right pedal? So B and C would have freezer. Oh, by the way, they have, A and B has iron in common, but we already have it listed. Okay, we already have it in the center. So we're looking for additional items. Okay, so B and C would also have freezer. Okay, and then the left pedal, what does A and C have in common? So we're looking at A and C, and we see that there's a washer and dryer, actually. So right there and there. So washer and dryer. And actually I'm going to put a W for the dishwasher that we put up here. So DW, sorry. Okay. Next we have, so we did the center, the petals. Now we're going to do exclusive to each set. So we take a look at what was not written in, let's say, set A. These two were not shared. So you can see it wasn't marked in any other scenario here. So toaster and blender. And then down here for B, there's nothing that was not marked, so that's going to stay empty. And for C at the bottom, we have microwave oven. Okay. Now, the fourth step is to do all the outside, is to look at all the elements that are not in these three circles, which is basically the complement of the union of all three. And we're going to say, okay, so we have up at the top, we have microwave oven first, and that's already been counted. Freezer has been accounted for. Dishwasher has been accounted for. Refrigerator is not in any of the circles or in the list. So let's put an R there. And washer, yes. Dryer, toaster, blender, food processor, no. So that is going to be in here, food processor, and then iron is in the middle, so that one's gone. All right, so that's basically how you do a Venn diagram with three sets. Okay, so next we have 15 through 20, which takes a look at the rankings of countries in their consumption of vegetables, fruit, and meat. These are the top 10. Okay, so the question is, we're going to do 16 through 20. And we're going to start with the United States. If you look at the United States, top 10 countries for per person consumption of vegetables, fruit, and meat. And there's, United States right here. Okay, and that is basically meat only. And I'm pretty sure you could have guessed that, as we are pretty famous meat eaters. So meat only would be region 7 right here, not shared with any other region. Okay, then we have China. China is 4th here, and that's basically it. So they would be in region 1 only, which is vegetable only right there. And then you have Turkey, and Turkey is 8th here, 3rd here. Okay, so that will be 2 out of the 3, vegetables and fruit. So vegetables and fruit, okay, not including meat. Vegetables and fruit only, no meat. So that would be right there. Okay, so next we have 39 through 48, which we're just going to do some of these here. I would like to do 41, 42, 46, and 48. So let's begin with 41. So 41, set C. Set C, okay, is going to have, so let's go ahead and label these. So this is region 1, region 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, 8 regions. So just to kind of break this down, you could definitely just look and write them down, but to give some people a reference to go to, so set C is going to include starting with the lowest number will be 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so you just got to look at those 4 regions. Basically, the black circle C, you're going to include all the numbers in there. So I would just start from lowest to highest, and that would be 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 11. Okay. Now, 42 is B complement. So it's basically saying everything outside of B. So you look at B, look all the regions outside of it. So if we just list the regions first, you're welcome to skip this step, but I would like to include this for people who need to see where I'm getting these numbers. So outside of the red circle is going to be region 1, region 4, region 7, and region 8. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the numbers from those regions, and I'll do them in the order of the region instead of least to greatest. So 1, 10, 9, 11, 2, and 13. Okay. Next we have 46. So by now you should know what this means, the intersection of all 3 sets, A intersection B intersection C, which is region 5, and that's 4 and 5. Okay. Let's go to 48. This one's a little tricky, so you need to do what's in parentheses first. Okay. So what is in the parentheses? The union of B and C. Wait a second, I meant to put... Actually, let's start with region A. So region A is region 1, 2, 4, and 5. Those 4 regions. So that's A. So B, the union of B and C, in other words, all the regions in both B and C, but just don't repeat any. So starting at the top, I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Now, that's the union. That's both B and C. So what is the intersection of both of those? I mean, you can do this definitely the visual way, just by looking at the Venn diagram. But this is I'm doing the breakdown of if you just looked at one set at a time and then did the operations like union. Now intersection means what they have in common. So if you look, there's a 2 here and a 2 here. There's a 4 here and a 4 there. There's a 5 here and a 5 here. So final answer would be regions 2, 4, and 5. So we just look at regions 2, 4, and 5 and write down the elements in there. So region 2 has 3. Region 4 has 9, and region 5 has 4 and 5. Okay, again, I didn't do this in numerical order, just by the regions that I am looking at first. Okay, so when you do your MyMathLab, they might be in numerical order, which is fine. Just keep track of what you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the last section for the homework that I would like to do, and that is 65 through 68. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of them. So it says use a set statement to write a description of the shaded area. Use union, intersection, and complement as necessary. More than one answer may be possible. Okay, so actually I want to do number 58 first before I do these. So let's take a look at 58. So it says use Venn diagrams to determine whether the following statements are equal for all sets A, B, and C. And you may be asking, how do I use Venn diagrams if there are no elements? Well, what they mean by that is the regions. Okay. So we can go back and recall that we have 8 regions. Okay, so we have region 1. You just go straight across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So it wants to know, is A union with the intersection of B and C, is that equivalent, or I'm sorry, equal to B intersection C union A? Okay, so basically they just reverse the order to see if this actually is true. So let's begin. So A, if you remember, is 4 regions. I mean, not remember, you can just look at the diagram I just made there. So that's going to be 1, 2, 4, and 5. Union with, what is the intersection of B and C? The intersection of B and C, oops, this is A, B, and C, so that would be those two right there. Intersection of B and C, so that would be 5 and 6. Okay. Now, so the union is going to be all of these sets that we're looking at here on this statement, except no repeats. So we have 1, there's a 2, okay, right there. Is there a 3? No. There's a 4 right there. There is a 5 right there, that's twice, so we're going to write it once. And there's a 6, okay? So we're going to see if this is the same as basically this same thing in reverse. Okay, well, it shouldn't be any different because you're still looking at the same list. You're doing the union. Nothing has changed except those two that are on the left now, so it's still going to be the same thing. Okay, so this is true. Or yes, they are equal. Okay? So that's number 58, proving sets to be equal using regions. Now let's take a look at 65 through 68. All right, so we want to use a set statement using union, intersection, complement as necessary. More than one answer may be possible. Okay, so 65 has shaded outside the two circles. Okay, so we want to say that everything outside the two circles, that's basically region 8. So how do we describe that? Using sets. Well, we can say, how about the union of A and B? That's all three of those regions. But outside of that, and the way we do that is by putting a complement. And that makes us look outside of those three regions into region 4. Okay? Actually, let me put this... put it to the side, I guess. Okay. 66. Everything is shaded but the center. Okay, everything is shaded but the center. All right. So why don't we write down the center? That's the center. A intersection B, and then let's just go ahead and put the marking that determines everything outside that, which is again parentheses and complement. Okay. 67. Now we have 3 sets. Okay. So these are a little bit trickier, but let's take a look at what's shaded. So what's shaded is basically most of A and B. The only part that's not shaded is C. The only part that's not shaded is C. So how could we describe basically all the regions between A and B, but not C? Okay, so we can say A union B. Okay, but we need to go ahead and take out anything that has to do with C. Okay. So not C. So we need to go ahead and put parentheses around this one here. Okay. Then 68 would be, so we have the intersection between A and B shaded, the intersection of all 3 shaded, and the intersection between B and C shaded. So there really isn't any easy way to write this one, but we need to focus first on this region here, which is the intersection of A and B. Okay. Then we need to see that if I erase that, there's also the intersection between those two, between B and C. Okay. Now the only way to not repeat that center, which was which was there in both of my markings, so I can just mark the other one. So the only way to not repeat this is to put the union, and that way you won't be repeating the center or region 5. So that is 65 through 68. Now we want to go ahead and move to finish up 2.5 in the workbook, and then a few questions from the homework. Okay, so we're back to 2.5, where it's the same concept of, and this is the workbook, the same concept of 3 sets, but using word problems to solve word problems. All right, so we have, now some people may try to answer these questions without doing a Venn diagram, and it's possible, but not recommended, okay? Because once you do the Venn diagram, which involves some subtraction, you will be able to answer any question that you are asked. And everything is much more clear. So let's go ahead and set this up. Okay, we got set A, B, oh wait. So we have three types of items here, and you can see them right there as well. Okay, so games, let's put that first. Let's put Ed software here, and utility programs over here. Okay, now, and then our universal set we're going to do down here, because we may have to do some calculations, so we need some room for that. All right, so the following information regarding software purchases was obtained from a survey of 800 customers. 550 purchased games, 500 purchased educational software, 250 purchased utility programs. So that, guys, you don't want to start there, because we're talking about the whole entire circle. And we already know that the circles is split up into regions. They all have 4 regions. So what we can do, though, is to label each of these circles as a reminder. Okay, as a visual reminder on the graphs, on the chart. So games is 550. So everything we write inside this circle should add up to that. That's how we can check ourselves. Educational software is 500, and utility is going to be 250. Okay. So where you actually want to start is down here, all 3. Okay, so all of the ones above it, so you got and, those are 2, the intersection of 2 of the circles. Up here, this is like, if we call that set A, B, C, this would be set A, set B, and set C. Okay, 1, 2, 3. First circle, second circle, third circle. And then the ones that say and, that's going to be intersections of those particular circles, and then the one that says all 3 is the center. So this is where we start. Okay, so we're going to put 100 right here. Okay. Then we're going to do the top pedal. So the top pedal, because we want to work our way out, okay, is the intersection between games and educational software. All right, so games and educational software, that is 300. Okay. So I need a little bit of room. So now the thing is, we already have these sections marked off for 100. We have the center marked off for 100. So the 300 is the whole entire pedal right here. So that whole thing is 300, and then this must be 200. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to do work for that. Okay. So that pedal is 300. So make sure that you also include the 100 that's already listed to make the 300. All right. Next, we go to the right pedal, which is Edge Software and Utility, and the total is 200. So if you already have 100 in the center, to get the 200, to get the 200 for this pedal right here, you just need another 100 right there. Okay. Then is the last one is this pedal right here. That was not good. And so if we already have 100 listed and the intersection is 150 right over here on the left, then we're talking just 50. Okay. Okay, so so we did the center was 100, and then the pedals, we had to subtract 100 from each of those numbers, 300, 200, and 150, to be able to get the remainders, which the whole pedal now adds up to those amounts. So the last thing, or the third thing we need to do is do the individual circles where there's exclusive areas. So region 1, 3, and 7. So first we're going to start with gains. So gains, we know if there's 550, okay, we want to minus the 3 numbers that are in that circle. So for the gains, if you look at the numbers inside in those pedals, you add them up, that's 350. So that's 350 already accounted for out of the 550, and that makes 200. Okay? So you're looking at everything in the circle for the games. Now let's take a look at the circle for the educational software. Okay? We can see that there's 500 on the outside of the circle. We already have, now let's add them up, 200, 100, plus another 100. That's 400 accounted for inside that circle already written. So exclusive to the second set would be 100 right here. Same thing on the bottom. So that we have 250 there. And if you add this up, we already have 250. So if the whole circle's 250, you already have 250 accounted for. That means you have nothing to write in region 7. Okay, now all we need to do is get region 8, which is outside the circle. So the total is right here, 800, minus all of the all of the numbers already listed inside our circles. So 200 plus 200 plus 50 plus 100. There's 300s over there on the right. So if you add all those up, you're gonna get, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 750. And that's gonna be a remainder of 50. So 50 is gonna go out here. And now that this thing is complete, we can answer any question that is given to us. And so the first question is, what about how many customers purchase none of these types of software? That is outside all 3 circles, or region 8. And you just gotta look, and it's 50. Okay. Only games. So only games, that means it's not shared with any other circle. So that would be the exclusive region for the first one, and that's region 1. That's just simply 200. Games and educational software, but not utility programs. So games and educational software, but not utility. So it's the top pedal, okay, which is the 200 and the 100, but not the utility. So we need to subtract or take away that center pedal or that center region, and that's going to leave us with region 2, which is just 200. Now the last question is exactly 2 of these types of software. So exactly 2 would be, so not 3, not 1, but 2. Okay, exactly 2 of these. So we're talking about that 200, that 100, and those 50. Those are exactly 2 between those 3. So we have basically region 2 plus region 4 plus region 6, and that is 200 plus 50 plus 100, which is 350. Okay, 350. All right, so here's number 6 from page 78 and 2.5. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster since we don't have to go through introductions and regions and all that. So we're just going to quickly draw our Venn diagram. 3 regions. This is sports team, symphony, and the museum. Okay. And we're going to say, okay, there are actually, so right here are 3 major numbers. So sports has 16. Symphony has 17. And museum has 15. Okay, so all the numbers in those circles should add up. Then we have the all 3 right there, which means we have and. So those are combination of circles. So we're going to start here. So 5 goes here. Then the 9, we can just go straight up. So I'm going to do 9, Symphony and Children's Museum. That's the right pedal. So to have 9 total, I need a 4 right there. And so we took care of that one. I'm just going to check this off as we go up. 7 is the pedal for sports and museum. That's the left pedal. So if I have 7 in there, I need a 2 right here to make 7. 11 would be the top one. So I need a 6 right here. And then for Children's Museum, which is the bottom one, I need a 15 total. So 15 minus 15 minus 11 is 4. So if we add all these up, it should equal 15. Right, so 7 plus 8 is 15. All right, looking good. So we go to the next number, Symphony. That's the right circle. 17 should be the total there. So we have 15 there. That means we should have 2 there. And 16 should be the total for the left circle. And we already have 11 plus 2, that's 13. So that means we have 3 in there. Okay. Now the universal sets, everything outside is region 8. So we know that there are a total. So we know there's a total of 33 right there. Okay. So we do need to add up all these numbers. Okay. So that's going to be 9 plus 4 is 13. So 18. 18 plus 8, 26. And that's going to be 7. Okay. So now we can answer any question. Only a professional sports team. That's not sharing any other regions. Okay, so that's region 1, which is 3. Professional sports team and symphony, but not a children's museum. So professional sports and symphony, so that's the top pedal, but not a children's museum. So that's going to take away the center between those top two. So that's just going to be region 2, which is 6. Professional sports team or a symphony. So the sports team or a symphony. So or would be the union. That means everything inside those two circles, okay, without repeating anything. So we're not going to repeat the middle part. So that's going to be, so the sports circle is 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2, okay? And then we're going to add up the symphony regions that we haven't already written down, which is going to be 2 again and a 4. Okay, so the total is going to be 22. Next, we have a professional sports team or symphony, but not a children's museum. So again, or, that's going to be a union. That's between all, between both circles. But we have to exclude anything in the children's museum, which is the bottom, so basically these 3 numbers right here, we have to exclude it from the union. So that means we're just going to add up 3 plus 6 plus 2, which is basically 11. Okay? Okay, then the last question is exactly 2 of the activities. And exactly 2 would be, that's 2. That's 2, and that's 2. 2 activities. So basically 6 plus 4 plus 2, which is 12. All right, and that's it for 2.5. I hope you're doing well. And this ends the unit. And now I will see you in the next video.